3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, folks.
Morning, everybody. Welcome
Good
to
morning.
another episode of our Sunday question and answer video. Sorry for missing last week, but today we got a bunch of questions to make up for it.
It was Father's Day last week.
It was Father's Day last week.
Give me a break.
Yeah, we give him a break.
Exactly.
Me a break. One day out of the year, or two. We'll give him a birthday off too. But let's get right into it here. So the first question we have is from Arjun Saigal, and they say, what is the data for downtown? Now, I believe this was because the context for this question is in the Toronto video that just came out this week on Tuesday. There were on the map, we had, because you responded to this question actually, and you said, I don't understand the question. And I think what they're asking is for Toronto on the map, downtown, it's one of the first times where it had 2 sales.
Woo.
And so we had just written 2, but we didn't put the actual details. And I guess you can just explain why we didn't put the details of those sales.
How do you get an average when there's only, you could actually calculate an average when there are 2 properties sold. You can get the average of the 2. Number just doesn't really make sense. Remember, these are only detached properties. If we're talking about the freehold market, where I break the map up for the city, but specifically we're talking about downtown right now. So for 2 properties, we're not going to give you a average sold price or a month's inventory or how many sold the list price or more. It's irrelevant. There were 2 properties sold in downtown Toronto that were detached. That's all we're going to say.
Yeah. And for downtown Toronto, there's usually not many sales of the detached.
0, 1, or 2.
And it's more semis and towns, but even then it's not.
It's not much.
It's not many.
Yeah. But if you watch the condo show, downtown's a whole other story. Downtown is the epicenter.
It's the most popular one.
Tons of condos.
Okay, and so that actually leads right into our next question, or our next comment here from Vert911. And Vert says, please show us what C1 and especially C8 resale condos have been doing since January. I think your viewers need a wake-up call. The golden areas will see uptick before the bronze areas. Keep an eye on the gold if you want to know where the average is heading.
We could break it down however we want. It's just the timing, the way we've broken it down now, we've basically just taken the downtown, then uptown. We've kind of gone past the MLS breakdown, and that's what he's referring to, the C1 and the C8 zones. We've gone past that and basically said, according to our opinion, this is downtown, this is uptown, this is the Etobicoke market, this is the Scarborough market, and we break it down that way, which I think more people are more in tune with that than, oh, by the way, you're in W4 right now, let's see what's happening there. So we could, but we don't, just because of timing. That's all. Like, how long is it going to take? And
when we were making those maps, we actually spent a lot of time trying to make those maps and figure out what is the best way of kind of grouping them together,
exactly,
while keeping them in the same price point, right? And so that was the idea.
There's 101 ways of breaking these down, and even if we get to 101 and show you 101 ways, the next comment's going to be, why don't you do it this way? We just can't keep everybody happy.
Why don't you just break down the condos on this street for us, please? But yes, okay, so next question here comes from Audit the Auditors. And they say, it's only been 12 days since the cut. Are you seriously expecting things to pick up instantaneously? The big banks haven't lowered their fixed rates in response yet. Once they do, it will affect sentiment and bring more buyers. No, it won't be a stampede, but gradual increase. Price on detached will increase slowly as well. Keyword, slowly/gradual.
Will it? I don't know.
I think one of the interesting things is this comment says, it's only been 12 days since the cut. Are you seriously expecting things to pick up instantaneously?
Did I say things? I expect things to pick up?
No,
I didn't say that in the video.
I think the interesting part about this is, obviously things take time, but they're talking about the buyers coming back into the market.
Yes.
But what we did see instantly
Yeah.
is sellers coming onto the market,
Correct.
right?
That was instant.
It's
I agree.
it's
Same
not
week.
it's not that we are expecting things to pick up instantly, but we did see instantly many more sellers come onto the market at that time. So you never know. You never know how these things work, right?
I'm glad I answered that. Next one.
So the next question comes from Cater 8730, and they ask, question for your Q&A. If you are a senior and want to sell to downsize but don't have to sell, should you wait it out or go for it anyway?
I answered this question, I think, online.
Did you?
I believe so. I remember seeing that
I don't
question.
know why you answered it online when it's for our Q&A video.
If you're a senior and you don't have to sell, should you? It's tough to give a definitive answer because there's a whole other set of circumstances. Normally, on anyone selling or buying, there's the general consensus of kind of what the majority of people are doing.
Yeah.
But then when you sit and you speak and ask specific questions to the person selling or buying, then you start to figure out it's better to do it this way, or it's better to do it that way, or right now, or wait. It all depends on the individual set of circumstances. Yeah. Now, this market in general, if we're saying the market is trending down price-wise, and it is for a lot of neighborhoods, or it's either flat or trending down, but if it's trending down, then this type of market is more conducive to somebody upsizing, because it's the more expensive properties that have taken the bigger hit versus the lesser expensive property. There's still a lot of action in many areas on the lower expensive properties.
Yeah.
So if you don't have to, and you could easily afford where you are, and you're downsizing, I would wait, generally speaking, but that all depends on your set of circumstances.
Yeah. Okay. So next comment here comes from Walter Penn 371, and Walter says this is with a response to our video on the condo parking spot that a squatter took up.
We got some slack on that.
We got some slack on that.
What are you doing? Call the tow trucker instead.
Yeah. So Walter says there's something very wrong. I think we should say, like, we're talking about our experiences, right? So our client, when we walked through there and he noticed that there was a car in his spot, first instinct was to contact management, because he thought that,
they were just going to tow it away.
They were going to do the take care of the towing, right? And so yeah, it's our experience. Maybe we're not saying, call the tow truck, call management. I don't know what the correct solution is, but that's what we experienced on our end with regards to the parking and the locker. But
I was thinking of that, because some people said call the tow trucker, and I read some of those comments, and they say, yeah, just prove that it's yours.
Yeah.
How do you prove that to a tow trucker? And are they supposed to be, geared up at reading deeds? Pardon?
They probably have their license.
They probably do have a real estate. You got to call a tow trucker with a real estate license.
No, but it's true.
That's funny.
It's true.
And but what are they supposed to be able to read deeds now? You show, look, I'm showing you the deed, and it's private property.
And also, usually there's a difference between how it's labeled on a deed versus how it's labeled in the actual spot
in reality.
Itself.
So yeah, I didn't say, they said, call the tow trucker. Some of them were talking from experience.
Yeah.
It kind of sounded, but I find it hard to believe that.
Yeah.
And somebody said the cop will give him a ticket. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think the cop is going to go on a private property, but I didn't want to argue it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're right. I don't know. You're right. But we're talking about the experience we had.
Yeah.
Management needed to wait almost a week before they could do something about it.
Yeah. So this comment here comes from Walter Penn 371.
Walter.
And they say there's something very wrong here and in the downtown condo area. I know people who live in condos, and once in a while there's foot patrol either by private security or condo board members who look after parking lots. Each condo owner is immediately contacted about unknown registered parked vehicle in their spots. Guest parking have to be immediately registered, including time of arrival and approximate of departure. Some condos have a max time limit. Many years ago, I was very lucky with a warning note instead of a ticket. Now, I will say, in my experience with condo management, condo concierge, they do often walk around parking lots.
Yep.
But they're not walking around with a piece of paper saying, oh, which car is registered to which unit.
No. But
right?
how many times have you and I, on a listing, especially if it's vacant,
Yeah.
we'll park in that parking spot
yeah.
while we do our work, while we show the condo, while we get it.
Usually when we're listing.
Yeah, when we're listing.
Side,
we're parking in the homeowner's parking spot. We know he's not there.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said to us, hey, you know, whose
You're
car
not in
is
their
this?
spot, yeah.
Nobody's ever said that.
So I don't know. Maybe in some of the more luxury buildings, they have
or the buildings that have a ton of Airbnb, and
maybe, yeah.
And
That's
the
a good
homeowners
point.
have complained and said, "There's always somebody in my spot."
That's a good point.
Maybe.
So yeah, maybe in those cases, but we, from my experience, and I don't know about yours too. I don't think I've ever seen condo board management, private security
walking around checking who's parking.
Each individual.
Yeah, they'll check if it gets flagged. If somebody says, "Hey, there's somebody in our spot."
But they check for sure when it comes to visitor parking.
Yes.
Visitor parking is a different story.
And that's easier to tell. It's overnight, after 2, there should be nobody there.
Exactly.
Or after whatever time.
Or if it's just not, So I don't know. Maybe that's an experience in some different condos, some condos with smaller parking lots, but I think that would be a difficult feat to do on a much bigger condo with a much larger parking.
Next question. Enough about parking in condos.
Yeah. So, okay, next question or next comment here is from Maggie McCaskill.
Maggie.
And our friend Matthew asks, Mr. Sessa, is there a yearly price chart for, I believe this was on the condo video. Is there a yearly price chart for this?
Matthew. I'm trying to understand the question. Like,
so I think
year over year change?
Yeah,
or
I think you do. So,
I do the monthly and I go back 3 or 4 or 5 years.
But do you do that for the condo video?
I try to do it every month. Sometimes we don't do it on a show just for timing.
Okay.
But the condo, I believe on the last one or 2 shows ago, we did the condo by month going back 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Have a look at that one, Matthew.
Yeah. So it doesn't happen every time, but sometimes you'll see it. And
if you don't see it, message us privately. We'll send it directly to you.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. So next comment here comes from PMoney070783.
P-Money.
And this was a very popular comment. And so I believe this was on the video where the agent had told a seller that price is here, and then they tried to get it priced down here very shortly later.
Changed.
Yeah, market change.
In 3 days.
So they say, I blame the real estate agents 100% for this continued misinformation amongst sellers. Unfortunately, I still see some misinformed buyers playing into their misinformation, which will lead to a big hurt later on.
Lots of misinformation.
Yeah.
Is there a question there?
Not really, but it's just
a comment?
Yeah, just a comment.
Yes, lots of misinformation, sometimes by mistake, sometimes on purpose. As human beings, we tend to pick and choose just out of human nature who we want to believe. And if somebody's telling you you'll get more for your home, many people will forego any kind of evidence and just say, well, they must know. And they'll pick the agent that says things, I guess, more favorable to them. And it could all be wrong. And agents know that, and people in general know that. So,
Yeah. The message that we all, I think every video tried to get across, no matter what, is not that you have to take less. It's not that you have to, price it for more. It's just that you have to be realistic.
Absolutely.
You have to be realistic, especially if you're on the market now. You're on the market for a reason, right? You want to sell. you have to be realistic. And if it's not, if the realistic number doesn't make sense for you, that's fine.
Don't
you
go
have
on
to
the
sell.
you don't have
You
don't go
to
on the
sell.
market.
But it's the people that are on the market and then complain about, oh, my house isn't selling, my realtor told me this. Like, but it's because you weren't realistic. Because
Right.
there are houses that are selling that if they price it realistically to what's going on,
Yep.
it'll move. So
Good answer, Danny.
yes.
Good answer.
Thank you. So next question here comes from Vince8520. And Vince says, the more important question is, why do banks accept these mortgage applications? So this video.
Let me guess. Mortgage fraud.
Yeah, the one we did on that came out on Friday with regards to mortgage fraud. He says, why do banks accept these mortgage applications? Is it because they can just turn around and dump them in a government guaranteed MBS? I think there's a very simple answer to why the banks accept these mortgage applications.
Go ahead.
I don't want to answer
The Daniel Sessa show. Go ahead. Answer.
Oh,
You're making me proud. Go ahead.
Answer it. You answer it.
No, you answer.
Because the banks are making money.
Thank you. The banks are making money.
How many people committed mortgage fraud from 2000? I mean, we can go back even longer. It's been happening forever. But how many people committed mortgage from 2000 to 2002 when everything was going crazy to try and get into the market? And banks didn't care because they were getting paid.
Let me say in the back end, they don't care. But on the front end.
On the front end, yes.
Oh, we're implementing this and we're implementing that. And
we'll do everything.
Then they catch somebody and they say, hey, you need to resign.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. We'll give you a letter of recommendation. Yeah. And then this person goes to work at the next branch. Yeah. It's so on the surface, they care. They care a lot. But on the back end, they're getting mortgages. Their investment is somewhat protected, especially with prices at the time for many years going up. So, okay, we're okay.
And the funny thing about that is, so they implement all these measures, right? We're going to combat fraud. We're going to do everything we can to stop it, except the only measure that'll actually work, right?
Yeah.
The only measure that'll actually work is, link the data from the CRA to the mortgage application, right?
Absolutely.
Because we talked about it in the video too, right? There are a lot of people that make their money cash, right? They make a lot of money in cash, and they don't use that. They don't report it, but you link it to the CRA, all that's gone, right? So they're doing everything they can in this fight, except the one thing that'll actually matter.
You're right.
But okay, next question here. It's from John Federic.
Hey, John.
And he says, who wants to live in the GTA anyways?
I don't know, 4.5 million people or whatever the number is now. I don't know, John. I have no comment for you. We live in the GTA. Lots of people live in the GTA. John, do you live in the GTA? He didn't say where he lives.
Yeah. A lot of people live in the GTA. It's a great place to live because there's so much to do. But
it's an awesome place to live.
Yeah, it's just starting to smell a little bit everywhere is what I noticed, actually.
It's all the humidity from the rain.
Yeah, I guess that's it. But next question or next comment here comes from M. Singleton. And M. Singleton, this was in response to our video where we were talking about the people that do the half renovations.
Yes.
The half renovations. And M. Singleton says, the value is in the dirt. Pristine condition is the best financial move.
There's a lot of value in the dirt. I can't say that pristine condition, pristine condition, no matter what you're selling, whether it's original or fully updated, pristine condition is always a must. But is it the best advice? I don't know. I mean, if somebody has a house they want to sell and it's original, we're not going to say, oh, renovate it all before we sell it. We're not going to say that. Oh yeah, you got to invest $200,000-$300,000 before we sell it. No, but the very basic is it has to be pristine, even if it's original, even if it needs work, still has to be clean, neat. Somebody could walk through it and feel comfortable.
And it's incredible how much value people place on that. Because
Even just the smell.
Yeah.
Just the smell.
And when I see people, I mean buyers. When we walk through houses, it's if something is like in original condition, the tiles with the pictures on them and stuff like that. As long as it's in good condition, people really value that.
They do.
Buyers
Clean,
really value
neat, organized, not cluttered.
Yeah.
And they could just walk through and make a decision. The buyer will do the renovations.
Yeah. And so next question here, or next comment here comes from Steve C. 777. And Steve says, the data is great. ... Less so the first section.
You don't like my story, Steve. Steve,
boy.
What am I going to say to that?
I think it's funny because there's so many people that love the stats.
It's like half and half,
but
I think.
Don't like the stories, and there's so many people that love the stories and don't like the stats. If you watched enough videos, you know what point each of them starts, so just skip over there. We appreciate you watching the stats though, Steve. Thank you for that. So next question, or next comment here, comes from Views from the Balcony. And this is, again, a response to the mortgage fraud video we did. And they say, stop being nice. They knew and they still did it. What does it say about their character and morals?
Was I being nice in that video?
I think you were walking the line. Because I know you had, I
didn't stomp my hand on it. Oh, scumbags. I didn't say that.
We didn't do a behind the scenes for that video, but if you knew what he wanted to say about those things.
The language sometimes got a little away from me on the behind the scenes video.
He was not, in the first few takes, he was...
That bothers me. It bothers me a lot when realtors get involved with that, when mortgage brokers get involved with that. We work with lots of awesome professional people, and everybody else is on the other side, outside of that circle, and it just really, really bugs me. It's not just buyers, legitimate buyers that can't buy because they're competing against somebody else that illegitimately is qualifying to buy, but it's also our livelihood. Like, we're competing against realtors that are working with clients and facilitating a higher budget when it's all illegal.
Well, we've lost clients because we don't engage in that kind of stuff. Right, which is frustrating, but at the same time, it's it's better to not be a part of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But and so last comment here, as I said, we always end with a positive comment.
Oh, thank you.
So N Bellis 4396 says, the best Toronto real estate channel, straight facts. Now to ensure our wonderful government doesn't bail out anyone and allow supply and demand to do its thing.
Awesome. Thank you for that. We should end every show with that comment.
That one?
That same comment. Every show. We just end every show. Every video, every show, all of them. Thank you, folks. We really appreciate you watching our channel. It means a lot to us. It encourages us to do more. And your comments are valued. You don't have to agree, and it's obvious from the comments. Not everybody agrees with our opinion on things, but we appreciate you watching.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're almost at 14,000 subscribers.
14,000.
Holy, never did we think...
We're getting there.
Never did I think 14,000 people would want to listen to my dad speak into a camera.
There you go. Well, once we got past the 20 family and friends, then we were like, okay, who's going to watch now?
It was all a shock from there. But thank you guys so much again. We hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments in this video if you want to be featured on this show next week. And leave your comments in the rest of the videos from the week, and we'll pick them out, and maybe you can be on the show. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Have a great week coming up.